Hey everyone, so I'm gonna go over that Tesla play that I got this crazy 1000 percentage play off of from last week, and just kind of go over my thinking for entering this position. So let me go back to my archived watch list, and let's see. So I had made this chart before on Tesla last week at 629, and here I was kind of watching for breakout of this trend line right here, and definitely over this 1005 level. So then on the next day, we got that breakout here, and I was looking for continuation above the trend line, and definitely was hoping to see some resistance at this 120, 127 level ish, and hopefully seeing that we would just break right through. And yeah, this is kind of, I need to update this right here. But yeah, let's get back into it so I can kind of just showcase my entry. I'll just do the 1 hour so we can just like zoom in a little bit. So I had this trend line, pretty sure it was going from here to here, yeah. And then I had this 4 hour supply zone up here, right there. So I'm on my laptop right now, so I'm moving a little slow. Right here, so I'm pretty sure the top of this one is going to be that 1005 point. Yeah. So these were my two zones here to kind of get long on, and then I was also watching. I mean, this is another trend line that we can draw real quick here. So before I made this Tesla play, we were kind of like within this sort of range right here. So I was really looking for, obviously, a breakout of this area and the trend line, and for us to hold it. So I think what I had done was I entered on the breakout, and it was a pretty strong breakout as well. We kind of come back. Yeah, you can see there was some resistance here in my zone, and then we had breakout, a little bit of a retracement back into this zone to fulfill some of those buy orders, and then boom, fucking going up. So I think I sold that first play. This wasn't the 1000 percentage play. This was the first play that I had, and I'm pretty sure if we go to my watch list, my target was 1087, which was an extension of this wave 1 right here. I think from this point actually, because that was the high, not here. 1.618 extension. So I can show you guys how I drew that level real quick. So I had this extension from here to this low right here, and boom, that's where I exited my position. And you can actually see we hit that level literally spot on that day, right there. And that was, we zoom in, that was basically the high on the 30th, which was the day after this. So that was my target for the upside before any pullback, and we hit that perfectly. So I was pretty happy with that. That's where I exited my first calls that I had. But then what I was noticing was this trend line. I think actually Jonas might have pointed this out in the chat. I was watching this for a while as well, but it was this trend line here. Right there. So if we ignore it right here, that was my target of 1087 right here from that extension. So we saw a little bit of a consolidation and then a push forward to try to get over this trend line here. And if you can see, literally worked out so well. That was my exit point, a little bit of a consolidation, and then I saw this big push up. And right about here, I was like, oh shit, we're definitely going right towards this trend line. Definitely kind of pushing towards that. Let's see if there's any resistance. And there was like no resistance at all. We just flew through that. But what happened was, bounced through, and then we had a retracement right back into this trend line here. And we held that trend line level as well. We didn't lose it. We didn't make a lower low, anything like that. And actually, to end the day, we made a higher low. So right when we held that trend line, yeah, right here, I'm pretty sure I got my calls that netted me this profit. I'm pretty sure I bought them. This was the first. Here's the second here. I literally bought them right on the retest of the trend line right here. So you can see, you could have even bought them end of day, and it would have been great. But Adam in the chat was saying, you know, the Tesla was coming out with the bullish numbers and everything. And we kind of had this like massive push and nice little retracement back to the trend line. So I felt pretty comfortable taking those heavy sort of YOLOs there for, you know, next day expiry. I wouldn't really suggest that all the time, but this time it paid off. So yeah, that's why I exited, or that's why I entered right there, sold immediately at open. Did not want to fuck around with that. And that netted a nice profit. So yeah, that's kind of just my thinking. I just wanted to just go over that and kind of how I showcase my how I show my, you know, supply and demand levels here. For me, once Tesla broke that 1005 area, I was feeling really good. You can see we had these other areas above. We had that area there, and then we also had this, you know, rally base drop. So my next area to get over as resistance was actually that. I'll just delete that. It was 112 to 127. So yeah, that was, you know, I was kind of just waiting for breakout of this, you know, downtrend that we had, and then another breakout of these supply zones above, and then that to me just felt like Tesla was just quite bullish, and especially after we broke through this trend line here. I was careful that it wasn't a bull trap or anything, but once we retraced into this trend line and bounced off of it, I knew that we were definitely going to be having a green day the next day. I didn't expect so crazy, but yeah. I mean, it's similar with the Amazon play, you know, because if we look at that last one that I had entered, what the hell is that? Yeah, it's almost the exact same, because we had this trend line that I was watching right here, and we had this demand zone right here, or sorry, the supply zone right here, and once we broke above that, and once we broke this trend and we were making higher highs and higher lows, then for me it was just simple entry point there. You know, I'm kind of just waiting for that sort of confirmation with all of that before entering any sort of position, and just being on the watch for, you know, breakouts like that. And I think these supply zones above that, you know, these stocks kind of break through in these trend lines that we see, yeah, I think they're pretty good indicators of that and good entry points and all that. So yeah, I hope that helps everyone. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you want me to go over anything in particular in the chat. I'm happy to. But yeah, thanks.